Greetings, as I, Titus Naramagico, your Lord and Emperor here at the Dracovin Empire, and welcome once more. We're here to dive into the Pathfinder RPG again. We're going to be talking about another ancestry. We're talking about the beings of Ib. Yes, you're joining me, of course, when I'm on Twitch. Say hello over there, Twitch, and of course you're joining me later on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that great stuff. Have you dealt with the being of Ib? Because this is a very interesting one, because it really only shows up in its undead form in one adventure, which we'll talk about, but the actual species is one that really is, we got stats for it. It'd be really a hard one to play, because it's like, it's a very rare, unusual one. So that's why I'm curious if anybody's actually played one of these. It's a very interesting question. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we should talk about them, because they're pretty neat. They're an interesting creature that appeared in one of the Strange Aeons Adventure Path. So let me throw this out here, the book, because this is the one you look at. The Dreams of the King in Yellow. It's the book from Strange Aeons that introduces us not only the being of Ib, but their undead version, the, I think it's just the Ib Shade. Sorry, the brain there broke when it was called for a second. I was like, was it Ibian Shade? No, it's Ib Shade. Now, we do have stats for first edition in this book to play one. So it is an option to play one. It's an ancestry. Some could appear on Golarion, but I'm going to tell you, it's probably like, if we're talking about second edition, it's probably rare, ultra rare. Anyway, we should see what they look like and talk about them and go over the little bit of information we have. This is a being of Ib. This is a living one. At least that's what it assumes appear. It's a strange, unusual race of amphibian aberrations that were originally native to the Dreamlands. They worship Bokrug. Bokrug being one of the great old ones, referred to as the water lizard. Just so you know about what that one's existence is. So it's a being from the outer beyond. Most beings of Ib, as they are known now, are incorporeal undead known as Ib Shades. A few, if any, could survive the present day on distant places, or show up in other ways. We'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. So it's like, it's not outside the realm of possibility that one actual living member of their species alive, or a small group of them, are somewhere, but most of them are dead. So when you look at them, as displayed over here, they appear as a nauseating green amphibian humanoid with webbed hands and feet, a lithe body, fragile skin, and sunken belly. Its face is frog-like, its wide, flappy lips, its overly large eye sockets are empty, its ears are long and taper to two distinct points that protrude back from the skull at an angle, with a third point descending downwards to the shoulder in place of an earlobe. Its slimy skin and internal structures are strangely composed of the same alien matter. So eons ago, the beings of Ib, rumored to have descended from the Dark Tapestry and built the city of Ib from grey stone on the land of Minar in the Dreamlands, on the shores of a deep lake from which no waterway flowed. They lived in Ib for ages, until being slaughtered by the humans of the city of Sarnath, who were disturbed by their strange appearance and frightening deity. 1,000 years later, the Ib Shapes rose from the lake and descended upon and brought doom to Sarnath, exterminating its inhabitants and wiping the metropolis from existence. So yes, most of these creatures were slaughtered, and then the people that did it 1,000 years later got slaughtered off themselves. Where would I find the being of Ib at this point in time? Well, that becomes kind of a tough thing, because, again, they don't really exist the same way as you'd think. If you would find one, well, it's not to say that there might not be small pockets somewhere, or there is the possibility that someone could honestly resurrect one using magic. But it would be an individual, being out of time. That would be an interesting story. And there might be some place somewhere strange, alien, some realm where small pockets survive. So, are they effectively extinct? Yes. But it's impossible to say, especially the way they're presented, that if they really are or not. They kind of put it in a way that's like, well, they could still be alive. Now, we do know some things about their society that we can talk about. Interestingly enough. I'm going to take a drink before being drunk. What do we know about them? Well, first off, they're mute. They're capable of learning and understanding languages, but their mother tongue, Ib, is a sign language. And their name, being of Ib, is basically something that was given to them by a race of scholars. Their actual racial name has been lost to time, whatever word it would be. In life, they were simple, peaceful fisher folk with little ambition or drive. They were content hunting, fishing, pursuing ideal entertainments. They were fanatical of their worship of Bokrok, and always built statues of him in front of any out of strange sea green stone where they first settled there. They never built underwater cities, preferring swampy lake shores while the ground was firm enough to support stone edifices. Now, as undead, Ibshades are much more violent and dangerous, and threaten all who cross Brogrug's followers as wrathful vengeance. They have been known to rise from bodies of water to assault and destroy settlements whose denizens have harmed Brogrug's worshippers or caught his attention. Beyond this, Ibshades are content to remain hidden in bogs and lakes in which they once dwelt, coexisting in relative peace with animals, but tolerating no intelligent intruders. So, there you go. Is that a lot? No, it's not really. But that is what we have on the being of Ib. This is a short one. But I thought it was an interesting one to still talk about when I looked into it, because they are a species which, certainly speaking, in first edition you could play with. But if you're playing one, you're being either lost out of time, for some reason being sent to the modern version of Golarion, or maybe even having been resurrected from some skeletal remains. Maybe you didn't become a Shade because you died before the great cause that created your Shade brethren. Or maybe you're from some strange realm somewhere, far off in some distant place where a small group of them have remained hidden. Either way, there aren't a lot of them. If you happen to choose, they do exist. I think that's an interesting point for them, is that canonically they might exist. It's one of those odd points where not confirming or denying whether or not they are alive makes them much more unique, interesting. Certainly we see they're undead here and there, but yeah, it's the fact that we just don't know if any are alive or not. It's just such a strange unknown, and there are a unique people, yes, being understand languages, but having a sign language themselves because they can't speak. And they're just a simple folk that, yeah, they just so happen to worship a great old one. Yeah, he's a little weird and alien and monstrous. Yeah, it's fine. But because of that, they were slaughtered. Because they're weird and worship a weird deity, at least in the eyes of their human neighbors. And that Ib was their major colony. And that's why there's just so few of them left, if any. Because that's where they were. It is a both interesting, sad tale and educational. And that's what the being is. I think that's why. That's what. But we'll leave it there. I'm going to check out any of my other tabletop stuff. You're going to join me live over on Twitch. It goes up on YouTube a couple days later, though. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, with Saturdays a backup day, usually early to mid-afternoons when I do recordings of tabletop stuff. Pathfinders on Thursdays. I have a live play of Pathfinder 1st Edition Crimson Queen on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. EST. Always check that out if you want to see us live or later on. Always fun. We're doing Crimson Throne, an adapt version of it. Saturdays at 6, discussing tabletop. We go news of the week and deep discussion topics of the tabletop world. Great one there too. Always recommend that one. Just social media, Discord, Twitter.com, link below. Just updates, going lives, and basically schedule and cat execution for my 2 kids. Alright, I think that's it. Sometimes I can't remember anything else to say, so hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed. This is a shorter one, but I hope you enjoyed learning about the beings a bit and just, wanted to see about some kind of strange little species that once was related to the Golarion sphere, and whether they are not now is, well, honestly up to you if you were GM or your GM allows. But until the next time we talk about this, another ancestry, something else tabletop, or like a country Golarion, I bid all of you a deep and wonderful farewell.